Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending where you are on the planet. And welcome to the Wednesday, the 2nd of April, Bull versus Bear webinar. Steve Miley here on the Call for Trade Day. Welcome, everyone. Go for our usual regular run through here today, but there's really not much to say, and it's all going to be wait and see what is delivered on Trump's so-called Liberation Day. We get the package details of the tariffs, and are they going to be as strong as feared, or maybe not as negative for global markets as potentially concerns are raised about, or are they going to be at the harsher end? We just don't know. And there's a lot of unknowns, a lot of volatility out of here today. So my advice would be keep your powder dry. There's going to be a lot of options. There's going to be a lot of opportunities over the next 24 hours plus. So rather than losing accounts, blowing accounts, there's going to be so many opportunities. I would probably wait until those opportunities arise rather than trying to eke out. And you just don't know when it's going to come. So you could just be the wrong side of a trade. Obviously keep your stops really tight because you could just be the wrong side of a trade when the announcement's made, and markets are just good. We could see a 1% move in a blink easily here, and potentially more. So just watching out, more over the day. So watching out for that coming today. Obviously, we don't really have any kind of real idea. It could sort of come at any time. It could be leaked, could be put out on a tweet. It's very random when it comes to Mr. Trump, President Trump. So we do get ADP non-farm employment change. That comes up in just 43 minutes time, likely ahead of when we get Trump. Trump is due to speak at 3 o'clock. So that's when it's kind of expected. But whether we get details before then, whether it gets put on, as we said, so 3 o'clock Eastern is when we're kind of aiming at potentially. But as I say, it could come at any time. Trump has tweeted stuff. He often wants to put stuff out there before he says it, kind of stuff. So in speeches, so he may, it could go out on X, it could go out on Truth Social, it could go out on anywhere. Who knows, right? So just watching out, But 3 o'clock is, we will be keeping our eye on at 3 o'clock. But it might be before then. So 3 o'clock Eastern. Ahead of there, in 42 minutes time, we do get the ADP non-farm employment. That's the precursor. Remember, that's the this is the non-government kind of almost like a guesstimate of where the actual non-farm employment, the official number, comes in on Friday. It always comes out the Wednesday before. So we're going to keep an eye on that in 42 minutes time now. But I mean, critically, it's going to be all about, and all the headlines I have are all on Trump. So, and then potentially it probably won't be immediate, but potential then retaliation. It's doubtful it'll come today, but potentially it is today. It's more likely that once other countries take a look, they may or may not retaliate. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's within 24 hours, because other countries will be preparing stuff themselves to maybe counter what comes. So we'll have to wait and see. Sorry, just having a quick drink there. 3 o'clock, but potentially before. And then all my headlines are just on this. So Trump's tariff plans are being ironed out and they're due today. So we're just watching for that. And how we're going to trade it. We just have to listen what the president says in Rose Garden at 4 p.m. local time. So I thought it was 4 p.m. local. Okay, I thought it was 3 o'clock. It says here 3 o'clock Eastern, right? Should definitely need to iron that out. I'm sure this is Eastern time we have here. I'm pretty sure. GMT -4. Current time 7:24. Yeah, I think that's where we're at. Yeah, so I'm not quite sure who's got that right, if I'm honest. I'm going to trust that this is actually correct in here, 4 o'clock local time. Yeah. And look, as one big name in economics, the world is flying blind in here. Trump tariff rollout opens a new era of risk for global economy. So we just don't know, So, but 4 o'clock I'm seeing here. Takes the at 4 o'clock. Yeah, but it could be before. Just watching out, really, guys. It could come at any point in here, and all the headlines are the same. Trump Liberation Day tariff plan puts markets on high alert. trouble with a capital T. I don't know whether that T is Trump or tariffs or both Trump tariffs. And the markets could easily be 2-3% up or down after today. Stocks wins, gold firms, so stocks slightly lower again in here this morning. Having rebounded in here slightly. We saw that for Monday through Tuesday, sold off Monday, rebounded intraday Monday. It was choppy yesterday, ended up slightly up overnight and then back down again overnight / this morning. So gold firming, as a safe haven. Bonds are strong as well. US stock futures slide this morning. Details are weighted. So it looks like it's 4:00 Eastern as far as I can see from everything I'm seeing here. It's all the same headlines. Futures dip in run up to Trump's tariffs. Same headlines. Oops, why are we not moving along? Fed's Goolsbee warns on tariff-induced pullback in spending. So obviously potential recessionary growth concerns around that. Asia stocks are actually quiet overnight. Hang Seng was pretty flat. Nikkei had a slight bounce of 0.3. European stocks European shares fall as investors on edge before US tariffs. And we go here, UK shares fall as well. And then we go and look at the numbers. UK FTSE's down 0.75%, the DAX down 1.3%, and that's the German DAX, and the French CAC down 0.2%, and US futures off this morning between 0.5 and 0.65% across the S&P and Nasdaq. So all looking quite negative. Turning our attention to the interest rate markets, this is creeping up in here, 16% now for even a rate cut in May. That could change drastically. If there's, we could see a big shift in this going into tomorrow in the interest rate markets as well in here. If the tariffs are on the larger side or on the more aggressive side. June now we're pricing in pretty much only a 25% chance we're unchanged in June. And then come July, we're pricing in now 50-50 of up to 50 basis points. So either 25 or up to 50, either 2 rate cuts or 1 big rate cut by July. And by year end now, pretty much expecting at least 75 basis points, so at least like 3 rate cuts or 25 and a 50, and potentially more by year end. Bond markets in here, 10-year yield in here going back to low on this range in here. The last few sessions in here since last week. Plunging lower in yield, that's lower in yield, higher in prices, and we see that on our fixed income sheet in here, going up to 30-year back up near recent highs, 10-year getting up there as well, 5-year almost breaking out as well to the top side. So across the board in here on the bond markets going up in price. Remember, safe haven, bond safe haven, gold safe haven, pushing up to recent highs. That's high prices, low yields. And it's just jumping down to gold. Actually, you see here gold just dipping back yesterday from all-time high but rebounding again in here overnight. And if you go to the stock indices in here, we did rebound, as I say. We're down lower in here this morning, but overall still a bearish theme in here. Got this downtrend line still intact in here on the S&P, and Nasdaq failed at a retracement level, made a new low, as did the S&P. We made new lows in here going into the end of March, below the previous early to mid-March lows, and so that's signaling this bigger downtrend, this bigger topping pattern is very much intact. So all the threat to the downside, but that means nothing. It really means nothing. It could all turn on a dime today, as you see in here, setting back today. I've got nothing really to say. It's a matter of today just going with it. Levels that watching levels for maybe we get overextended, but this honestly we could see 1, 2, the Nasdaq could easily move 2.5-3% today easily. This is one of those kind of, it's not a black swan event, because a black swan event is one that's not expected. This is very much expected, but the kind of moves that are possible today are really significant. These kind of days come along, well, they're more under the Trump administration, but they come along maybe 2, 3, 4 times a year where we've got potential for markets to move significantly more than like 1-2% a day. Most days markets move 0.5 to 1%, averages that is, and all markets really, to be quite frank. If you go and look at FX markets, you go and look at gold, you go and look at bond markets, they don't move much more than somewhere between 0.5 and 1 to 1.5% on a day. Busy day 1.5, even on a big day today 1.5, sometimes 2%. Today's got an easy, could be a 2+% day. day, for particularly for the Nasdaq and potentially for the S&P as well. So and those days only come along, as I say, a handful of times a year. So that's why I'm saying keep the powder dry. Maybe don't trade ahead of the news, which does look like it's 4 o'clock. It's saying 4 o'clock local time, so 4 o'clock. That's Washington's on Eastern, right? So I don't know why in here it's saying 3 o'clock, unless I've got my calendar misset in here. But it's currently 7:24. Yeah, 7:24 in Eastern. So I've got this on the Eastern calendar, and you can see 7:24 up here. So I think they've just got this wrong. To be quite honest, I think that's just wrong on the calendar that we pull in from investing.com, because everywhere I'm seeing here is 4 o'clock, Eastern. From the Rose Garden. So we'll have to wait and see, guys. And keep the powder dry. As I say, there'll be opportunities later. I mean, you can tentatively just trade your normal strategy, but that we could get a pre-release before that announcement. So just watching out for that. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to the webinar tomorrow and what we've got to see of where it could set the course for the next weeks and maybe longer in here. If equity markets extend to new lows, we could see a more significant sell-off and a more significant correction, potentially moving to bear market territory on the major indices. If it's more lenient, then maybe it's a respite and we see upside, but then more lenient could just be for now, and then we could see a notable move back higher. Back lower if Trump, dials back on it or becomes more aggressive. So we just have to wait and see, guys. All right, I'm going to wrap it up there. I'm going to wish you all a great trading day. Take care, stay safe. Helmets and goggles on, ready for today. And I'll be back with you and we can pick the bones out of it with tomorrow's webinar.